Dear students, in this recording, we will learn about an important concept what we call as change of basis, which will lay foundation of singular value decomposition as we move forward. Now, to understand what this change of basis mean, we will stick to a simple example in this video where we will not leave our n dimensional vector space. So we will change the basis within the space itself, and we will try to understand what this change of basis means in the context of transformation matrix A that we learned in last video. Now we learned that whenever we multiply a given vector by transformation matrix A, and as long as this is a linear mapping, we are either stretching or we are rotating that particular vector. However, we will know this exact form of A in canonical or standard basis. That is, if we are in R square, we would know this A with respect to basis 1001. However, in real data science challenges, sometimes we may be presented with non-standard coordinate system. So our vector remaining same, we still want to rotate our vector by 30 degrees. However, we do not know that what that transformation will help us achieve that if these two coordinates, they are non-standardized, but we still want to rotate it. So let us say that the new position is somewhere here and the old vector is somewhere here, and we want to rotate it by 30 degrees, and we don't know that with respect to this non-standardized basis. Let us say this is 1 1 1 minus 1, and we want to determine this A tilde. On the other hand, we learned that we would know this A transformation matrix if as long as we are in the standardized or canonical basis, that if we multiply it by sine theta cos theta sine theta minus sine theta cos theta, we should be able to rotate this vector by an angle of 30 degree, and hence problem would be solved. But the question is, what is the relationship between A tilde and A? Now, one thing that we have to notice carefully, that our initial vectors or our original vectors, which I am highlighting here, they are essentially same, only their coordinate system or representation with respect to coordinates are changing. Similarly, once this rotation is complete, the transformed resultant is also same, in a sense that only the coordinate representation would be different, but these two vectors, they are exactly same. And if we look into this using same perspective, what we also call as the basis, there should not be any difference. Also, we learned that if we know the basis b1 b2 up to bn, and all these are vectors, n dimensional vectors, and we know the representation of a vector x in its Cartesian coordinate, we can simply express vector x as the linear combination of alpha 1 b1, alpha 2 b2, alpha n bn, where alpha 1, alpha 2 up to alpha n, they represent the coordinates of vector with respect to basis B. Now, if we collect all these bases B in a new matrix, so this would be our B1, this would be B2, all the way till Bn, and this would be of size n cross n, because we are saying that there are n elements in each basis, and we need n such columns if we are talking about a particular vector subspace which is of n dimension. So we can write the previous equation in a compact form, that x vector can be written as b times xb, where xb is the representation of vector x in basis B, and whenever nothing in subscript is mentioned, that would mean always the standard basis, and this is basis B. Now, one thing is clear here, as long as we know this B matrix, and if this B is invertible, we can say that xb is B inverse X, and we can always go back and forth and keep on changing this basis. But however, the bigger question here is what is going to happen to the fate of A and A tilde. Similarly, if we multiply this by A, so AX become the transformed X when it is multiplied by some linear mapping represented by matrix A. TXB would be A tilde multiplied by X, but all this transformation is happening with respect to basis B, and now again we are looking for the relation between A and A tilde. As I said, we can always go back and forth between X vector and XB vector. That also means we can go back and forth between Tx and Txb vector, which would be again same. That means we can always write Tx with respect to basis B as B inverse of Ax, because if we substitute X with Ax, because now this is a transformed value, the result is going to be same. Also, Txb can be obtained by applying the A tilde transformation on Xb, because that is what these transformations mean. So we can always write this as B inverse Ax, which is equal to A tilde Xb. Now again we know that this Xb is given by B inverse X, which is equal to B inverse Ax. Now if X is invertible, we can say that B inverse equal to B inverse A, and hence if we multiply or post multiply both sides by B, this can be written as B inverse AB, or A tilde becomes equal to B inverse AB. That means if we collect all the vectors represented by B in a matrix, take its inverse, multiply it by the original transformation matrix that we are aware of in the standard coordinate, multiply it again with B, we would be able to determine what should be the resultant or similar transformation matrix with respect to a different basis, and this entire concept is called as the change of bases in same dimensions. Now let us also look at the geometric interpretation again. So we started with the fact that we have these non-Cartesian coordinate system. There is a vector here and we want to apply some transformation so that resultant vectors become rotated, and we are not sure about this A tilde. So what we did in first step, we sort of brought everything into its standard form, which we say that it can be obtained as B. If we multiply this by some basis B, we are going to come into our standard basis. Then we will apply the transformation A to the vector so that this vector gets rotated from here to here, and this would be represented here. So to avoid confusion, I will delete any change here. So, and finally I will rotate it back using B inverse so that we start working in our non-standard coordinate system for where we started. We will extend the same thinking to change of dimensions also, and it will make our further discussions much easier. Now we were saying that first transformation we are not leaving our n dimensional vector space. However, we also learned that if we choose the size of A appropriately, we can also go from r square to r cube, or we can go from r cube to r square, and even in those cases we have to identify some transformation matrix that can help us achieve that. However, what would happen if we are defining some, let us say, two-dimensional vector space in B, and this would be B tilde, as I am not drawing it as 1 0 0 1. I want to achieve some transformation where I go to some higher dimension non-standard basis, and there would be some transformation associated which is represented by A phi tilde, and I will represent this by C tilde. On the other hand, I know that how this transformation is going to look like as long as I am in a standard coordinates or standard basis, and this would be represented by C. Now the question remains, what is the relationship between A phi and A tilde phi? Again, we can think of this in the same manner. First of all, we were in the non-standard basis. We can always change non-standard basis to a standard basis by multiplying with the basis which from where we started, and in this case let us represent this by S. So if we multiply the coordinate representation of x, any vector x, with respect to basis B tilde by S vector, that is essentially meaning that we are representing this with respect to the standard basis based on our discussions that we just had. Now we know that this transformation, how it is going to shape up. So A phi, when we multiply this vector by A phi, we are basically changing its dimensions, and now we are going to, let us say, higher dimension vector space. Once we are in higher dimension vector space with respect to standard basis, we are not satisfied because we want our results to be in the same non-standard coordinate system from where we started. As we mapped B tilde to B using S, we can also map, let us say, Y to YC. That is, if we identify what is the coordinate system in which original vector was represented and we put that together in form of a matrix, we can always write this equation analogous to x equal to SXB, which implies YC can always be written as T inverse Y. That means we can go from standard to non-standard basis, taking the inverse of the basis matrix that we will obtain as the inverse of the transformation from C to C prime. And hence, looking again at this loop, we can write this relationship without going into derivation as A phi equal to T inverse A phi times S. Again, going from here to here, so T inverse A phi S. Now, whenever it is possible to identify the relationship A tilde equal to T inverse A phi S, we say that these matrices are similar matrix. And this is the entire purpose of singular value decomposition. We would be given a non-square or a rectangular matrix A, and we will try to identify the factors, that is simpler component, which we will typically denote by U sigma Vt, that we can decompose this bigger matrix into, so that we get some intuition what's going inside this matrix while retaining the similarity. That means there is no difference if you know A or you know these individual components, but more on that later when we go into specific discussions of singular value decomposition.